A wonderful Tuesday, Eagles Nation. Our hearts are still pounding with the strength of our team, but our eyes are already set on the next battle. The eagle never rests, it prepares, and when the time comes, it will strike with a devastating dive on the next opponent. If you believe in this glorious flight, smash that like button and raise your voice in the comments with the battle cry, Howie Birds. Now let's get to it. The Eagles have made a significant roster move, and it's one that could pay off in a big way. Offensive lineman Kenyon Green, who came to Philadelphia after the team dealt C.J. Gardner-Johnson to Houston, has been released. In his place, the Eagles have claimed wide receiver and kick returner Xavier Gibson off waivers. Gibson is best remembered by many football fans for his thrilling punt return touchdown in overtime against the Buffalo Bills when Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles in his first game with the Jets. That return became one of the defining moments of Gibson's young career, showing his explosiveness and ability to change a game in a flash. The Eagles desperately needed this kind of spark. If you watched that game against the Rams, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The kickoff return situation was nothing short of a disaster. Joshua Carty kept sending low line drive knuckleball kicks that the Eagles simply could not handle. Whether it was Tank Bigsby or John Mechie, who had never even returned kicks before, nobody could properly field the ball. As a result, Philadelphia's offense was repeatedly pinned near their own 15-yard line. That's not just inconvenient, it's backbreaking. When you're already struggling offensively, poor field position only makes the challenge greater. To make matters worse, wide receiver Darius Cooper, one of the most exciting stories from training camp and preseason, went down with a shoulder injury. Cooper, a former undrafted free agent out of Tarleton State, had earned his spot on the roster through sheer talent and determination. The Eagles were grooming him as a possible returner thanks to his special teams upside, but now with his injury, the door swings wide open for Gibson to see the field immediately. Philadelphia needs someone reliable in that role, and Gibson could be the answer. Let's talk about Gibson the player. At 5 feet 9 inches, 189 pounds, he isn't built to play on the outside. Instead, he thrives in the slot, using his quickness, agility, and short area burst to create mismatches. During his time with the Jets and briefly with the Giants, he recorded 27 catches for 268 yards and 3 total touchdowns, 1 as a returner, 1 receiving, and even 1 rushing. He's a versatile weapon who can do damage in multiple ways. The Eagles don't need him to be a star wideout with A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, and Saquon Barkley already carrying the load. But if Gibson can solidify the return game, he'll add an element the Eagles have been sorely missing. And let's be honest, this move screams Howie Roseman. Howie never sleeps. He's constantly working the phones, scouring the waiver wire, and making trades that other general managers wouldn't even think about. We've seen him try Tank Bigsby, we've seen him try John Mechie, and neither solution worked out. Now he's turning to Gibson, and it could prove to be one of those under-the-radar pickups that pay off in a huge way down the line. This is exactly why Philadelphia has remained competitive at the highest level, because the front office refuses to stay stagnant. But the Gibson signing wasn't the only headline from that Rams game. The biggest question fans had was about the offense. In the first half, the Eagles looked flat, uncreative, and frankly conservative. Then everything changed after halftime. Suddenly, Jalen Hurts was on fire, going 16 of 22 for 204 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions, finishing with a quarterback rating of 140.9. That's MVP caliber football. The rumor immediately started circulating that maybe Hurts had taken over play calling himself. That's how different the offense looked.
Nick Sirianni cleared the air on Monday. He said that Kevin Patullo, the Eagles' passing game coordinator, called the plays in the second half. But Sirianni also emphasized that Hurts has a huge role in communication, adjustments, and reading the field. Whatever the dynamic, it worked. The team went from looking like they were playing not to lose to looking like they were trying to dominate. That shift was exactly what this offense has been missing, and the players noticed it too. After the game, A.J. Brown openly said that he believes the Eagles have too much talent to be conservative. Let your killers do their thing, Brown said. That's the kind of comment that resonates with every fan in Philadelphia. Hurts himself echoed the same sentiment. It's time to stop holding back and start playing aggressive Eagles football. The timing couldn't be better, because up next the Eagles face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are also undefeated. It's a huge early season showdown, and the team is taking no chances. They've adjusted their travel schedule, heading to Florida a day earlier than usual to acclimate to the brutal heat and humidity. For a team that has struggled historically against Tampa Bay, This level of preparation shows how seriously they're taking the matchup. And speaking of history, that comeback win against the Rams has already been added to the list of the wildest regular season victories in franchise history. Down 26-7 with just over 12 minutes left in the third quarter, the Eagles pulled off 26 unanswered points to win 33-26. Jordan Davis's blocked field goal return for a touchdown will go down as one of those unforgettable moments at Lincoln Financial Field, right alongside the miracle at the Meadowlands and Jake Elliott's 61-yard game winner. So here's the real question. With the offense finally showing its true potential, a new weapon added to the return game, and the team preparing in detail for Tampa Bay, do you believe the Eagles are on track to make another deep playoff run? I want to hear from you. Are these the kind of moves that put Philadelphia back in the driver's seat toward the Super Bowl? And that's where the conversation gets even more fascinating, because the Eagles are at a real turning point right now. The second half against the Rams wasn't just about one comeback win. It was a glimpse of what this team can look like if the coaching staff unleashes the talent that's been built on this roster. Kevin Patullo stepping in and calling plays lit a fire under Jalen Hurts and the offense, and it wasn't just numbers on a stat sheet. It was the confidence, the swagger, the aggression that we've all been waiting to see since the start of the season. Hurts has always been known as one of the most clutch quarterbacks in the NFL, but what we saw was him looking decisive, reading the field, and hitting his playmakers in stride. When he connected with A.J. Brown downfield, when Dallas Goedert was moving the chains, and when DeVonta Smith was creating separation, it finally felt like the Eagles' offense we expected to see in 2023. And don't forget, Saquon Barkley is part of this unit now too. If the offensive line starts playing to its full potential, suddenly you've got a team that can put up points against anyone in the league. That brings us back to Xavier Gibson, because while his role will likely be limited to special teams at first, field position changes games. We just saw how damaging it was against the Rams when Philadelphia kept starting deep in its own territory. Imagine the difference if Gibson flips the field, sets Hurts and the offense up at the 35 or 40 instead of the 15. That's the kind of subtle impact that can snowball into wins, and in a long NFL season, those hidden yards matter more than people realize. There's also the message this move sends inside the locker room. When Howie Roseman makes a transaction like this, it tells the team he's not waiting around. He sees a weakness, he attacks it, and he gives them a better chance to win. That keeps everyone accountable. It keeps veterans sharp. It keeps rookies motivated, and it keeps the fan base energized because we know the front office isn't just sitting on its hands. That relentless pursuit of improvement is a big reason why the Eagles have been one of the most consistent franchises in football over the past several years. Now, let's circle back to that Rams game and the bigger picture. That comeback wasn't just improbable, it was historic. To trail by 19 points late in the third quarter, with a win probability dipping below 9%, and then storm back with 26 unanswered points, that's the stuff fans talk about for decades. Jordan Davis's blocked field goal return wasn't just a highlight, it was the moment the stadium erupted into absolute chaos. To see a big man like Davis sprinting downfield at nearly 19 miles per hour, then cross the goal line with the entire crowd losing its mind, that's Philadelphia Eagles football at its finest. Heart, grit, and the will to never quit. Stack that moment up against the most iconic wins in franchise history, and it belongs on the list. Of course, nothing touches the miracle at the Meadowlands in 1978, when Herm Edwards scooped and scored, or the 2010 miracle with Deshaun Jackson's walk-off punt return. But this Rams comeback, it sits right alongside the Randall Cunningham miracle at RFK in 1989 and Jake Elliott's 61-yarder against the Giants in 2017. The fact that it happened early in the season, when the team was still trying to find its footing, could make it even more important in hindsight. This was a statement win that showed resilience, creativity, and the kind of explosive potential that can carry a team into January. And speaking of January, the looming matchup with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is more than just another regular season game. It's a measuring stick. The Eagles haven't fared well against Tampa in recent years, just one win in their last 7 meetings. We all remember that brutal wild card loss when the Bucs dominated 32-9, capping off one of the most painful stretches in recent memory. And even going back to 2021, Tom Brady and Antonio Brown dealt Philadelphia another tough loss. These scars matter, because players and fans alike remember them. That's why this trip to Tampa feels different. The team is traveling a day early, planning a Saturday workout to get acclimated to the Florida heat and humidity. That shows discipline, preparation, and focus. They're not underestimating the challenge. They know that even in late September, the conditions can be grueling, and every small advantage counts. For a Northeast team stepping into that environment, this kind of proactive move could be the difference between starting fast or falling behind early. So, as we look ahead, everything points toward a team that's beginning to click. The offense has rediscovered its identity, the special teams just got a serious upgrade with Gibson, and the coaching staff seems to be listening to the voices of their stars who are demanding more aggression. The Eagles aren't just trying to grind out wins anymore, they're starting to look like the powerhouse we all expected. And that leaves me with one final question for you. After seeing the comeback against the Rams, hearing the players call for a more aggressive approach, and knowing how much this Tampa Bay game could shape the season, do you believe this is the turning point that pushes the Eagles back into true Super Bowl form? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and keep it locked here. We'll have plenty more coverage coming your way. Go Eagles! What makes this even more compelling is how the identity of this team is evolving right in front of our eyes. Early in the season, the offense felt stuck in neutral, the special teams were shaky, and fans were wondering if the Eagles really had what it takes to contend. But that Rams game shifted the narrative. It reminded everyone that this team still has that fight, that spark, that ability to flip a switch and dominate when the pressure is on. And now, with the addition of Gibson and the second half play calling that unlocked Jalen Hurts, it feels like the puzzle pieces are finally starting to fit. Think about it. When you combine a top-tier quarterback, elite weapons at wide receiver and tight end, a workhorse running back like Saquon Barkley, and one of the most aggressive general managers in football constantly finding ways to improve, what you get is a team that can beat anyone, anywhere. Add in a defense capable of game-changing plays like Jordan Davis's block, and suddenly you're staring at a roster that can truly make another Super Bowl run. So now the spotlight turns to Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers might be undefeated, but the Eagles are walking into this matchup with momentum, confidence, and adjustments already in place. The question is simple. Will this be the game where the Eagles prove to the entire NFL that they're back to being the dominant force we know they can be? That's where I'll leave it to you. Do you think this trip to Tampa will be the game that cements Philadelphia as the team to beat in the NFC? Or do you see more growing pains ahead before they really hit their stride? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like button if you believe the Birds are built for another Super Bowl run. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a single update. Stick around, more videos are coming your way, right here. Go Eagles!